We are rolling.
Good morning. Welcome back to the conversation. This is Midlife Crisis Activities. This is our lifestyles and pop culture webcast, our daily shout out to the world. I'm your host, Patrick Russell, and over there is my very vivacious producer, Veronica. Together, we're here to lend our voices to the noise from a multi-generational perspective to help explain everything that's right and wrong in this world. Happy Lunar New Year to you, Veronica.
Happy New Year.
It is the year of the tiger. Beginning in February is when the Chinese and Asian cultures celebrate this very grand celebration of the Lunar New Year, sometimes referred to as the Chinese New Year. And so going back into time to figuring out how this all came about, would it surprise you to know that prior to 1912, prior to the Chinese government adopting the Gregorian calendar, the 12-month calendar that we all know, that prior to that, we were living in two separate calendars. The Chinese and Asian world at large were living off of the lunar calendar based on the lunar cycle, and the rest of the world was working off the Gregorian calendar, which is more or less based off of the movement of the sun. And so it wasn't until 1912 that I guess the Chinese government gave up and decided that they would much rather have a big party once a year as opposed to trying to figuring out the dates and calendars in people's appointments and day planners, I think, right? You know, they just wanted to get on everybody on the same schedule. So once they adopted the Gregorian calendar, the Chinese government and culture decided to turn the New Year into a spring festival.
Yep.
One that brings the theme of reunion, renewal, and hope, right? And it's also a starting point, if you will, of the mass migration of people from the Asian communities that usually will fly back home. And of course, with COVID-19 and the pandemic, Asian culture is taking it very seriously. So that's kind of tapered down quite a bit. But you would think that either Christmas or, Thanksgiving, would be something that would be the reason for most people traveling, and that's not even close to being true. It's the Chinese Lunar New Year that really brings about the mass migration that we see in travel. So my question to you, Veronica, did you look yourself up to find out what year you were, what animal you were? So the lunar calendar works off of a 12-year cycle, and every year there's a new animal that is symbolized by that year. And we just talked about how 2022 will be the year of the tiger, which symbolizes bravery, wisdom, and strength. Can always use a little bit more of that. Now, when I looked up my birthday back in 1976, now here's the thing. So the lunar calendar starts at the beginning of February. I was born in mid-January. So although by the calendar dates I should be a rabbit, but the following Chinese year was the year of the dragon. So I don't know. In my heart, in my ego, I think I got a little bit of both, to be quite honest with you. But not to say whether or not you know what your animal is.
I'm actually looking at it right now, and it says I'm a 90 baby, so it says that I'm a dog.
All right, a dog. Now, dogs, the thing is that it's not just the animal themselves, it's what they represent to the Chinese and Asian culture at large. Here's another topic that you hear about when you discuss the Lunar New Year, and that's the diaspora of the Asian community. And that's a word that describes how you have a homeland and how the people of the homeland, through one reason or another, have spread out throughout the entire world. Now, we see that with a lot of cultures, of course. Anytime you walk into a little Tokyo or a little Vietnam, you are walking into what is the diaspora of the Asian culture, right? Because they're not just in China and Vietnam and Japan anymore, they're everywhere. You also hear that with the Jewish community as well, from Israel moving out through the Eastern Europe, and then of course around the entire world you hear of this diaspora that we see in many cultures that have been, for one reason or another, spread out from their homeland. Okay, so what do you think about being the dog, Veronica? Is that something that it symbolizes traits that you believe in? Go ahead.
Okay, so based on Google search, it says that this is a meaning if you are a dog in the Chinese calendar, right? So I'm honest, loyal, which that's true.
To a fault.
And I like to have I'm friendly. I like to have a lot of friends.
Yeah,
and I'm
popular.
a reliable partner. Patrick, you can say yes to this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you kidding me? These are all things. They shouldn't say a year of the dog. It should be the year of Edo.
So, I mean, not to brag about who I am, but yeah, definitely I'm honest, loyal.
I think they got it spot on when it came to you, huh? That Chinese character works for you.
It's so, not funny, but it's kind of weird for me to celebrate, or knowing that we celebrate New Year's for another country in a different year or day that it's not on the first of the year.
I know.
I'm Mexican.
It took a little bit of
Yeah.
backtracking in history to kind of figure out
Yeah.
the rationale and logic behind it. But once we heard the story, it made a lot of sense.
And
Yeah.
then also knowing that it doesn't fall on the same day every year. Like for us as Latina, a Mexican, and an American, it's always on the first, right? It's only
January
it's January
1st,
the
yes,
1st.
is always the New Year's.
And
That's correct.
on the Chinese New
It
Year's,
does fluctuate a
it
little bit.
changes between like the first and the second month, I believe. That's what I read. But I mean, it's interesting how they have their own, I don't know, like idea, their own follow instructions to do. But we do have someone in the office that it's from China. And she was just kind of letting me know yesterday that she was going to celebrate, and then all these things that they do. And then also that's why we're waiting red. So what's red represents on
Red
this
and
day?
gold, they're traditional colors that you see represented all the time during Lunar New Year celebrations. That's perfect, guys. To all of our Asian clients and friends, happy Lunar New Year. We hopefully have a happy, healthy, and successful year. Guys,
Yep.
there's no right answer, there's no wrong answer, but there's definitely your opinion. Please don't just subscribe to this channel. Even though we will be doing this back and forth and celebrating New Year's of all cultures
Yep.
whenever we can, but lend your voice to the show. It'll make it a whole lot more fun. Guys, it doesn't matter what comes your way today. It doesn't matter what obstacles or challenges you may face. You just need to remember one thing.
Give 'em
hell.
hell.
And be the tiger. Happy Taco Tuesday, everybody.